Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today we're going to be doing the second half of the What Sold video, which will be for June 19th through the 21st, the weekend, Friday through Sunday. Y'all, Poshmark and Etsy have just gone great for me. Absolutely terrific. I'm trying to think, I don't remember which platform had the best sale of the weekend, but I had sales, I think, on everything but Whatnot. I don't know if I had one on Whatnot. And then Robert's, picking up a few new sales on the other platforms because he's starting to get way more stuff cross-listed over there. So it's just all working out for us right now. So let me go ahead and share with you some of the things that have been selling for us. Let's start with Etsy. I had 3 sales on there. First one was this Popeye and olive oil fabric. I'm thinking this was a bins pickup. I measured it, so at least I don't know how to do the yards and all of that. So I just give measurements when I have fabric, or blankets or stuff like that. But these ended up selling on Etsy for $24.95. And then this Chosun puppy dog reindeer. It looked like a dog. It looked like a reindeer. So I just used both words. It was one of those large flat pillow type plush, and it sold for $40. And then this might be my best sell, but I can't remember. Nevertheless, this was a Tennessee Vols musical mascot dog plush. His name is Smokey, and it was working, and it sold for full price $69.95. And then Mercari, I had 3 sales. Kelly Toy Rainbow Giraffe Plush sold for $9.95. She's already left me really sweet feedback. It was one of those plush where it was all faded, and she wanted something to remind her of what it originally looked like, so she bought this. Omega Vertical Juicer Replacement Parts sold for $17.95. Then a Disney Doc McStuffins baby doll sold for $8. Then I had 3 sales on Depop. I had picked up a bag of these embroidery floss, paid $2 for it, just kind of laid it out, took some pictures, some close-up stuff, and they sold on Depop for $11. So y'all, you can see, it's not just clothes for me on Depop. I'm not selling any clothes on there. It's all of these oddball stuff, and there's no rhyme or reason, so get your stuff cross-listed. A Fuggler, sold it on an offer for $7. And then this Wild Republic Potbelly Pig. Again, another new thing that I had just listed on there. And it sold for $14.95. I'm looking down here on the screen. It's probably behind my picture. I've already sold 43 things on Depop in probably a month, maybe. Maybe a month.
Hasn't been too long.
So it's just popping for me. And then Poshmark. I had 6 sales on Poshmark. First thing that sold was this Sims women's fishing shirt. Just hadn't made it over to Robert's store before we decided to do 2 different Nifty accounts and 2 different Poshmarks and all of that. This sold on Poshmark for $16. Disney Snow White 2 Little Bean plush sold for $13. These next 2, one person bought them both. 2 of the DVD Beth Moore studies that I had. The first one is The Inheritance. That one sold for $40. This one was called Intimate Encounters with the Savior. Also Beth Moore, sold for $10. So $50 for these 2 DVD sets that I paid $2 each at an estate sale. And then these next 2 were also bundles. This was, both of them are this brass metal stuff that we picked up. This flower vase sold for $15. And then they also bought this one for $15. So slowly but surely, this brass is finally getting all sold. And then on eBay, first thing was this Pillow Fort Hammerhead Shark Pillow Plush, sold for $10. This was a Jack and Jones Denim Bulldog Plush, sold for $25. Y'all, these sold instantly. These are VTech alphabet building blocks. They were reversible, so on one side it was A to M, and then on the other side it was N to Z. So it was considered complete, and they sold for $26.95. Probably in like 3 days. This next is Manhattan Toy Corduroy Raccoon Plush. I like Manhattan Toy, but they take a while to sell. They don't sell for a whole lot. $15.25. American Girl baby doll with the green eyes. These were different. I'm used to either the dolls or the toddler, like baby dolls. But this one looked more like a toddler, but it had a full plastic body, vinyl body. I'd never seen that before. She ended up selling for $29.96. Disney, Mickey Mouse, and Friends figures. If I had seen one of these at the bins, I probably wouldn't pick it up. But in that bin, I ended up finding 4 of these figures. That makes a nice little lot of them. They would be good as cake toppers, or just, anybody who collects Disney stuff. They ended up selling in about 3 months for $10.
It's always nice at the bins if you have something like an IKEA bag, or even if you could have a little tote inside the IKEA bag, and you're putting things in there you want to keep, and then inside the little inner thing you can have, I might want to get these if I find something else to go with it, kind of thing. So if you find 1 or 2 of these, throw them in the inner thing, and then if you find the rest of them, great. If not, you can just get rid of that. Kind of a little sorting system, because a lot of times you find 1 or 2 things, and then I'll take them to Rebel and she'll say, yeah, you only got 2 of them. I don't want to deal with that. But if you keep them for a while, you might find
2 more,
2 more, 3 more, which will make it worth picking up like these.
I'm considering still. I don't think I'm going to buy a Hulkin bag. They're too expensive. But I've heard that Target makes a comparable bag for a whole lot less. So I'm thinking about getting one of them, because I think I would prefer, rather than having something hanging on my shoulder, because like the Dayton bins, you don't take your cart with you. You just bring a bag around with you and stuff it. But yeah, I'd like to have something where I could put it at my feet and drag it around and have more space. So that's something I'm considering. Anybody done have that Target one? I just don't think I could reasonably pay a Hulkin price. Cabbage Patch Kids little vintage outfit, sold for $12.78. Harry Potter White Owl plush, sold for $8.96. And then, my best sell on eBay were more of the magazines, those trucking magazines. All of a sudden, this is probably 6 or 7 lots after them being listed for probably 2 to 3 years. Selling them all. $35.95. You just never know when something's going to go back into style, or, people start collecting or looking for the older stuff. All right, and then Robert. On Robert's platforms, he had a Poshmark, a Depop, and looks like 4 eBay. So first thing is this Poshmark is American Eagle women's shorts. Very small, size 0. It still sells, y'all. Sold for $13.
We picked up a bunch of small-sized jeans yesterday at a yard sale.
I've been on the hunt for shorts for me, but yeah, she had tons that I would have loved, but not my size. And then on Depop, we sold these Madewell women's wide leg pants, sold for $15.
These were probably the most popular thing that I've ever put on Depop. I had so many offers and people clicking like on that pair of pants. So if you have anything like this or see anything like this, I don't know if it's the brand, the style, or the combination of the brand and style, but there was a lot of interest in that pair of pants.
That's funny. And then on eBay, First thing were the Skechers wedge heel sandals, sold for $13.45. J. Crew women's mini skirt, sold for $12. Disneyland Resort women's extra large Alice in Wonderland top, $14.52. And then Tommy Hilfiger women's capri pants, sold for $15.
I saw a pair. See how those they look like jeans, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
At a yard sale yesterday, there was a pair of American Eagle jeans that had a drawstring, but they had like the little stretchy thing at the bottom, like sweatpants used to have in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But they were jeans, but they had all that going on, like they were sweatpant jeans.
Like joggers. I think a lot of times that's what those are called.
But they were denim.
Right. Who'd want to run in denim? That's just too hot. All right, y'all. Hopefully you guys are getting your stuff on these other platforms. If you've decided to do some cross listing, just keep at it. Even when sales are slow, you have more eyes on your stuff and a better chance of selling stuff. But you just, even though sales are slow, keep at it. Keep at it. Get stuff listed. Even if you're only listing on eBay, start there. Get your stuff, because fourth quarter is a whole other different animal. And you don't want to be waiting till September, to start getting a lot of your stuff on there. I list seasonal stuff all year, so I don't have to worry about setting stuff aside for Halloween or Christmas or any of that. I just list it as I get it. So get to work.
Before we leave, though,
Mm.
this is June 27th as we're recording this. We're going to be in Missouri, not this coming week, but the week after. We're going to be sourcing at the bins in St. Louis. Probably going to be on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 7th and 8th of July. So if you're there and want to come by and hang out for a bit and buy some stuff, dig in the bins with us.
Yep. So
We'll be
that's
there.
Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Tuesday,
We
Wednesday, that's
think,
the plan.
pretty sure that's the plan so far.
But with our life, that's always
That's up in the air.
up in the air all the time, because we'll make a plan for a day and then we end up doing something totally different.
We had a comment in one of our videos, and I wanted to give an extra encouragement to somebody who's just wanting to get started and has been watching my videos, and just, I wanted to tell her, just do it. Make that first listing if you haven't done it already. Get it on there. Send me messages if you are concerned about what you're doing, you have any questions. We also have a Monday live show on our other channel, the Rebel Pickers. So if you have questions, come on there. We're always willing to talk about anything that comes up, answer anybody's questions, point them in the direction if we don't have the exact ones. But there's so many other people in the chat who are willing to also add any other information. But I just wanted to give an extra encouragement to Kalinda to get to work. Bye.